Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the off season. That's right. It's your boy OG Tim Wilson here with the Nasty Boys, Big Ed and Ways. Yeah, also known as Rob 45 and Joeski Love. We had the NFL draft here in Detroit this past weekend. We might touch on that, but there's so much else to talk about. I got my Caitlin Clark jersey. It's the off season. Let's get it. Oh man, I just want to vibe with that for a minute. I just want to vibe with that for a little bit. For a minute. I just want to vibe with it for a minute. That's all. Can I have a minute? Like, hey. YouTube. What's up, fellas? What's going
Nothing
on?
much. Man, you playing it, so you got all the time you want playing it.
Right. But yeah, YouTube, don't be on that.
Yo, I remixed it. I remixed it enough so that it should be cool. That's
It's
all.
I
dope.
got bumper music coming for us, so
It is good.
Yeah. Yeah, we good. We good. What's going on, man? What's happening with you? How did y'all enjoy the draft?
it went as expected.
Not for me. Yeah, I mean, somewhat, but not exactly.
I'm satisfied with my team, and it was an interesting draft.
It was an interesting draft.
The biggest surprise.
Yeah, we all know.
Biggest.
Surprise
We'll
was.
wait for that. We'll wait for that.
We'll come back to that. We
Yeah.
all know what the biggest surprise was, right?
Caleb Williams to the Bears.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
Right.
Saw that coming. Jeez. But before we get there, I do want to touch on a little bit of outside the sports stuff. All right. I need some bump. I need to give me a drop for that. So outside of football, Kendrick Lamar finally responded to Drake.
Man,
It was brutal. It was brutal.
I gotta find some videos, like you, OG. I gotta find some videos to decode it.
Because it was trash. That's why. That's what you said.
What?
They was trash. So that's all I could say.
There was nothing to decode. He was straight in your face about it.
No, he wasn't.
Him see
A couple
here,
parts. A couple parts he was.
the way he went in on Drake about being a father, that was very straightforward.
Not to me.
Yeah, a little bit. Parts of it was, but for me, Pusha T been there already. What else you got? That was like Papa Doc coming up. How many guys gonna come up here and say the same shit about Eminem?
Right.
Okay, he's white. He lives in a trailer park. We got it. It was funny the first time. Oh boy fucks his girl. We get it. Now what? We heard that part. Pusha T hit that already. What else?
Right.
What else? Pusha T did that already. So you gonna beat him, play the Pusha T drum, play that card, and it was weak to me. It was weak as water, but like you said, Big Ed, I'm gonna give it a chance. I need to go have it decoded, watch some videos, see what they say, and maybe I'll feel differently after it's been broken down for me a little more. Some of the other stuff that if there's other stuff that he said, better stuff that he said.
Yeah, I've only listened to it once with the link you had sent us, and I heard it and I was like, man, I got like you guys are talking about now. I got to hear what everybody else is hearing to see what I missed as well.
Right.
But for the most part, when I was listening to it, I'm like, yo, hey.
It was all right. It was all right. I thought I thought so far. I thought the second Drake diss, the one that he took down, because Drake took down the second one because he did the AI Tupac and the AI.
Oh yeah.
And he got some. And he got some.
He's also trying to get like
Flack
that
from the
taken
family.
down.
Huh?
He's also
He got
trying to
some
get.
Wait a minute. Wait. Both of y'all stand.
Yeah.
Who?
I was saying Drake got some flack from the family,
Yeah.
from the Tupac estate about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I was saying Tupac responded before Kendrick Lamar. But what was you about to say, Wade?
He's also trying to get like that taken down, the original diss from Kendrick.
Who is?
The Drake.
What do you do?
Apparently that's what he's been doing, is he's trying to get that song taken down.
I didn't see that. I didn't hear about that. But yeah, he took that down because like you said, Tupac, like I said, Tupac, the dead man, responded before Kendrick. And that's what Kendrick came back with. I was sitting there like, this is what you had waiting for 4 years, nigga. You could have waited another 4 years. But I'm just like, this is I don't know, man. I guess I'm from a different era of battle raps. And this ain't it for me. This ain't doing it for me. This but that song that he took down, I liked better than I did anything else that I heard so far. Because it was
But the
slower.
drop and give me 50.
Was saying not drop and give me 50 was cool, but I liked the second one better. The one that had Snoop and Pac on it.
Yeah.
Did the AI Pac and the AI Snoop, and then he came in. I thought it was slick the way he did it. So I mean, I hate that he had to take it down because I thought it was slick the way it was done. But the battle continues.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens next.
Let's see what happens next. I can't wait to see what the responders, the YouTube responders, have to say about this one.
Oh yeah, I'll be all over that again tonight because I just heard that song the one time and I'm like, all right, now I gotta hear the responders to see what all I'm missing in the mix because I haven't been paying too close of attention to their lives, other than the few songs I do here and there in the album, like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and all that.
Right. What else we gonna hit on? The NBA playoffs move on, and let me tell you, I don't really want to talk NBA playoffs because I know it's not really our thing. But I do want to say this, and I want your opinion on this. It appears there is a changing of the guard in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry didn't make the playoffs. LeBron is out first round in 5 games. KD is out first round in 4 games.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
What's your thoughts on the changing of the guards in the NBA? Is it really truly a changing of the guards, or is it just just this year or 1 year thing?
No, I think it's a changing of the guard.
Mm-hmm. And I
All
think
the
it's
old
about
heads are
time.
getting. LeBron's actually the last old head left, ain't he?
No, you got Steph and you got Durant.
Mm-hmm.
But they're only what, 15 years?
What? Who lasts as long as LeBron doing what he does? I mean,
Right.
He's talking about only 15 years in the NBA. You know how many years Jordan played? Only 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's.
Point well taken.
No, it does absolutely look like a changing of the guard, and it's almost pretty clear on who the main characters are going to be going forward.
Who the main character is going to be?
Now, there's always that one big one, but there's those others that are right there, right up there as well.
Hey, such as who?
Well, from my understanding, obviously Anthony Edwards is one that I've seen. I can't go through TikTok without seeing anything Anthony Edwards all of a sudden.
Okay, yep, definitely Ant-Man.
And then I haven't really been too hip.
Which by the way, Wade, is the only reason that Big Ed got something to say.
And the only other name I've heard, because it's just been another one that's been constantly popping up on TikTok, is Devin Booker. And not really too sure of his game.
I
Well,
love Devin Booker's game. He's gonna have to move around. I
Yeah.
think
yep.
he's gonna have to move around and go someplace else. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan, by the way. Big up, Devin. Um, but you also got
Detroit
Jamal
to take
Murray.
him.
You got Jamal Murray.
You got
Who
Ja.
just who did you say? What you say, Big Ed?
Oh, I said Detroit to take him.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a
Devin
local.
Booker.
Yeah, he's a local. Anybody will take him. I mean, he may go to. The rumor has it that he might be headed to New York, because the Knicks are looking good too.
Hmm.
They got a baller.
That's who I was just gonna say. The boy from the Knicks. What's his name? Damn, I can't remember his name.
You
The
got
guard from the
Shake
Knicks.
Gildress up there in OKC. He's a beast. So yeah, and Job and Rant, you mentioned Ja.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
He's starting to show some
Zion,
maturity and everything. So it looks like he could have a
Zion,
bright one.
Zion is balling.
Yeah,
Yo, he heard the naysayers. He's like, you know what? Hey, all right.
So yeah, there's definitely more than just one guy, Big Ed, that's ready to carry this league forward, man.
Yeah.
Think about Jason Tatum is, believe it or not, only 25. So
I was gonna say Jason Tatum and what's the other one? Jalen Brown.
yeah, they still coming on the come up. So
Hmm.
it's some ballers ready to take this league to the next level, to the next phase, and it looks like we're on our way to the new breed,
Yeah.
NBA.
And I appreciate every moment of it because it has to happen at some point.
I do too. So it does. It always does. And I think LeBron may play one more year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play one more season and then he's done, because he's right now still playing at an extremely high level,
Hmm.
and it's just amazing to see, and I appreciate it. I want to give a prop out to Anthony Edwards too for giving LeBron his flowers. He was like, a lot of this guy been hated on his whole career. People always find something. Even Big Ed just last week. Every time something comes up, you find a way to stick. Every time something negative is said about the NBA, people find a way to stick LeBron's name in there, and he ain't done nothing but been absolutely phenomenal for 20 fucking years. And who else? Who else can say they averaging damn near 30 in their 20th year season? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nobody plays at this level at his age. It's incredible what he's doing. And he said, I'm just afraid. I don't want him. He said, I'm afraid that he's going to retire from the game and was never really truly appreciated. And I'm going to be one that does. So I big up to Ant-Man for that quote. I mean,
Yeah.
he really, I didn't quote him exactly. I paraphrased it, but it was a good quote, to give a man his flowers before he goes, and make sure it's understood, man. We get it. This motherfucker been balling out, and he's playing while he's playing at an extremely high level for his age. He's not. He doesn't have that carry the team through the playoffs that he used to have. That
No.
he ain't got, because he carried the Cavs to the finals. He was carrying. I mean, he was carrying teams. He ain't doing that. He can't do that no more.
But he said it himself. This is AD's team.
Yeah, he can't do that no more. He can't. He ain't that guy no more.
Hmm.
And it happens to everybody. Jordan couldn't carry the Wizards to a playoff. You know what I'm saying? It happens to everybody.
Well, he had Kwame Brown too, so
So, what's your point?
Hmm.
LeBron had Matthew Dellavedova. So, what's your point?
yeah.
It's everybody want to blame Kwame Brown, but when you talk about his 6 championships, do you give the rest of the team credit? Do you
Mm-mm.
credit? Do you
Only
credit?
one person.
Exactly. You don't credit Scotty. People don't credit Scotty, and they don't credit Longley, and they don't credit BJ, but they don't credit Rodman.
Or Steve
But
Kerr.
But when it comes to him losing, well, it's somebody else's fault. No, he got to own. He got to own the losses like he owned the wins. Simple as that. And that's just fair play. That's fair play. That is what it is. Damn it! I got an explosion. Let's see. Where else do I go before I go to the draft? Barry Sanders is in the news. Y'all hear about Barry?
No.
Barry has removed himself officially from all the EA Sports platform. So he will no longer be on Madden. He will no longer be, and he will not be on the college when they bring the college football back. We won't be on there either. Because I didn't realize that. I thought about it, but it is true. They stopped doing college football because players weren't getting paid, couldn't get paid. So
Right.
They stopped allowing them to use their likeness without pay. So now the players can get paid again. EA Sports can bring college football back, hopefully.
You know what the deal is? What they got for a deal now? They get $600 in a copy of the game.
Okay, yeah.
I don't mind that, to be honest.
I'll take it.
I'm okay with that because I don't think they should get big money for that.
Yeah, and bro, you gotta understand. For once, you're going into a video game, a football video game. You're seeing your name, and you didn't have to create that character.
Yeah.
Well, and back in they didn't really use their name; they used their likeness, though.
Exactly, their attributes and their number.
Yeah, college they would use their likeness, but not their name. And I don't know if that's going to change. But at the same time, think about how many colleges there are,
Right.
and how many players got to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give them too much, or just scrap it. It's never going to happen. They're not going to have. They'll never be able to bring the game back because it's just too many schools. You know, it's over 100-something schools used to be on that game.
Yeah.
You know, so and 52. How many players per roster? I don't know. I don't know if it's 52 in college. It's different in college than
No, it's like 97 in college.
So how you gonna do it? You know.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. I mean, if you get a free copy of the game, shit. Some of them don't even deserve the 600. Here, just take the game, motherfucker.
Yeah. Really? You got senior bench riders, you know, so they get their name in the game just so they can say they had their name in the game. They're not going to complain about the 47 overall they have.
There's pros that don't get paid for being on Madden.
I thought they did because they actually.
There are pros that don't get paid for being on Madden. I can tell you for a fact. I was doing stand-up comedy at a club called Chaplin's in Detroit. And after the show, I was sitting at the bar, and I met this guy. He was talking to me about it. I got to talking. His name was Scott Kowalski. Scott Kowalski, little to my knowledge, until then, of course, it came up in conversation. He had just signed with the Lions. He had just signed with the Lions. He was a linebacker. He is a backup linebacker. You ever heard of Scott Kowalski?
No.
Exactly my point. But he was like excited to say, oh, yeah, I told him I play Madden. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm on the game. I'm on the game. I forgot. I think he was with Philly at the time for the game that was out at the time. But he said, yeah, my son was playing, and I went and checked it out, and I'm on there. I'm actually on the game. But Scott Kowalski wasn't getting paid for being in the game because he's Scott Kowalski.
Right. You know, I grew up with somebody that actually got drafted by the Lions. Free safety by the name of Ty Talton.
Ty Talton. Yep. I remember that name.
He was like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, I remember the name. I don't remember the player, but I do remember the name. But yeah, so there are players, there are NFL players that don't get paid to be on that, and so you know there's going to be college players that don't get paid.
Right.
On the college.
Yeah, I thought all the NFL players did because they actually used their likeness in the game.
And their names, but
not all of them.
Scott Kowalski's not getting the check.
Right.
Right. So I mean, there's some guys. There's some guys down the line on the bench. You got 32 again. There's what? How many teams? 32 teams. 52.
32 teams,
52 million.
50,
52 man
53
roster.
people on each roster.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not getting the check.
Another way to look at it, bro, is how many times have you?
Who's the backup punter for?
That's what I was gonna bring up. It's like, how
You
many
think the
times have you
backup-
gone through your lineup, your depth chart, and you're like, who the hell is this guy?
I think the backup punter for Jacksonville's getting a check. It's not happening. It's just not happening.
Right.
No, there's, and you know what? And they get it. They understand. I'm Scott Kowalski. I mean, he didn't have any problem with it. He was more excited about the fact that he was actually on the game than he cared about getting paid for it. Because nobody's go looking for me. Nobody's
Right.
checking for Scott Kowalski in this fucking game.
Yeah. And thinking of it as a college athlete, you're getting the honor to be basically immortalized in a video game. You know, something you grew up playing.
It's just your number and they might look like they move a little bit like you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it. So I'm sure there's going to be not every player is going to get paid. It's like virtually impossible to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You may as well keep it on the shelf because they're in the business of making money, and you can't make money that way.
Yeah. Well, it's only the players that opted in.
Say what?
It's only the players that opted into it that are getting paid for it. So
It's only the players that they care about being on the game that's getting paid for it. I'm not paying Joe Blow to be on the game. You know what? You don't want to be on. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Nobody cares about you being on the game. If I don't care about you being on the game, why would I pay you for it?
right.
It's just.
It's a whole lot of money in this motherfucker.
Yeah, it just don't make sense. Anyway, one more story before.
All right.
The draft. But we're back. Now it's football related. Ezekiel Elliott has re-signed with the Cowboys.
What are we talking about? Practice?
Yeah, he's on the.
I saw a TikTok video that said it perfectly. What the bleep is wrong with the Cowboys? You let him go to let him do nothing with New England, and then you bring him back for 1 year to do nothing here.
Look, the Cowboys are gonna do cowboy things. That's all I know. That is a terrible move.
You think that's a terrible move?
I think that's terrible. It's not a terrible move if it's 3rd and short.
I don't think it's a terrible move.
I don't think he can get.
I don't know what your thoughts are. Yeah, you said the thoughts of a TikTok video, but I don't know what your thoughts are. But personally, I don't see it as too bad of a move.
Well, they didn't.
The bad move was getting rid of him in the first place because Tony Pollard didn't cut the mustard.
Oh man,
Right.
did he not?
Right? So now he's gone. What you gonna do? What are you going to do?
He needs somebody with him, though.
He got the itty bitty behind him.
Ooh, I just thought of the perfect person for him. A trade with the Bears for Khalil Herbert.
No, he's got the itty bitty, the little dude with him, Deuce.
Yeah, Deuce. I forgot Deuce's last name.
I forgot it too, but
Yeah.
don't let his size
mind-
fool you. That boy
My
is
mind
that boy is
saying
nice.
Deuce McAllister, but it's not Deuce McAllister.
Yeah,
Right.
Deuce. Damn, what is Deuce's last name?
man.
Oh, it's bugging the shit out of me now. But yeah, they do get that guy. They got a couple guys. I mean, they got other guys with them.
Mhm.
They just got rid of Tony Pollard.
Because he's not a 3-down back.
Deuce Vaughn. Ain't that his name? Deuce Vaughn?
Deuce
Yeah,
Vaughn,
Deuce
yeah.
Vaughn. Yeah, and he may be small, but he's nice. I'm telling you.
He's nice. He's nice.
Just let him get out on the edge. That's all they gotta do. Don't try to run him like Zeke.
I don't think it's a terrible move. They needed it, and he wanted to be there. So if Zeke did not have a terrible year last night, he didn't quote unquote do nothing like your TikToker said last year. He came on in the second half of the season, and I mean because oh boy went out and Zeke took over. So he put up some good numbers in the back half of the season. I don't think it's a game changer for them, but I don't think it's a bad move at all. They needed to do something. They needed, and he wanted to be there. So who better to get than somebody that wants you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who better to be with than the bitch that wants you? And with the first overall pick, 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select
future Pittsburgh Steeler.
Hey, you know what's interesting? Pittsburgh didn't pick up Justin Fields' fifth-year option.
I did see that.
That's because they know they got someone coming to them.
Caleb ain't going to Pittsburgh. He's staying in Chicago, where half the fans want him and half the fans don't.
Why would half the fans not want him?
Well, now we all want him because he's the only option we got. Unless we go get, and I don't even want to think about that one. Ryan Tannehill. Oh. But Caleb's the only option we got right now. So we got to go with him.
Yeah.
At least he's walking into the best situation possible.
He's walking into a better situation than Justin Fields walked in.
He's walking into a better situation than any Bears quarterback has walked into.
He's actually walking into a better situation than any quarterback has ever walked into.
I don't know. Tom Brady was set up pretty nice for that playoff.
with the players they have on the offense.
Dan Marino walked into a pretty good situation. Yeah. I mean, slow down there, Bearhead. Slow down there. But yeah, I think he is walking into a very good situation.
Yes.
As long as the line can hold up.
That's what I was about to say, but they did not address the offensive line. And I don't know if they picked a good receiver at 9.
Mm-hmm.
But I question whether or not they should have went offensive line right there.
Yeah.
Pick the receiver later.
Yeah.
Because you got to protect. When you've got a $10 billion diamond, it's the most valuable thing you have. But the only thing you got that's more important is the security system to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
We did pick up a guard who's only allowed 2 sacks in his whole college career.
Okay, that is a good sound, but
so we did do that.
What about a tackle?
Yeah,
take the blind side.
We got Darnell Wright on the right, and we got Braxton Jones on the left.
Yeah, I was gonna say they covered the tackles.
Braxton actually made a lot of good strides last year. He did a lot better last year than he did the year before. Yeah, so he's making strides as a tackle.
Either you're very optimistic now and all in on Caleb Williams, or you're being a Bears fan.
That's good.
Which is it? I'm just curious because
I'm being a Bears fan.
Okay, all right. Well,
because I can't say I'm all in on Caleb Williams until we see him play.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
No, it ain't. He all in. That's some bullshit.
I will say though, the Bears' issue has always been that interior line, and that's the one thing they haven't addressed yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how they hold up in the middle.
And we did pick up a guard in free agency from Buffalo. Right guard, I think it was. So we did address one of the interior linemen.
Anyway.
Okay.
What's some thoughts on the draft overall? Not just the Bears.
Biggest shock of the draft.
Well, the biggest shock of the draft, of course, was pick number 8. But let's do it a little different. Let's do
Okay.
it. Arizona Cardinals went first round. They went Marvin Harrison.
Mhm.
Second round, the third round, they went defense with Darius Robinson. Second round, the third pick, they grabbed Max Melton.
Mm.
Actually, they had 2 first round picks, right? Because they made a trade. So
Yeah,
they got Darius Robinson in the first round. Their second round, they got Max Melton. Third round, they went running back Trey Benson.
Hmm.
And they overall had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 freaking picks.
Mm. They hauled away pretty nice then.
Yeah, they got graded an A minus. What was your thoughts on them getting Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I love it. They need another dynamic receiver there, and you couldn't ask for better. My personal opinion is he wasn't the best wide receiver in the draft, but I think he's a perfect fit for their system.
I thought what one thing interesting about the draft was the mass run on offensive players.
Ooh, we just
Yeah,
straight.
was it pick 18? Somewhere between 18 and 20 was the first defensive pick.
No,
Yeah.
pick 16. Because then Minnesota traded up to 17 and got Dallas Turner.
Oh, yeah.
All of I was watching it going, damn, this is like the football gods smiling on Detroit because all the good defensive players are getting pushed to the back end of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they need. They need to go defense, and they were worried about what they couldn't get, and these niggas are still here.
Didn't you guys? Didn't Detroit get the best corner in the draft?
But they got their personal top rated corner.
Mm-hmm.
The corner that they rated as the top corner they got, but they expected him to be gone top 15. There was talk about trying to trade up to 15 to get him, and they ended up trading with Dallas at 24 and getting him at 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
No one suspected Minnesota would end up with Dallas Turner. I didn't see that coming.
Not at all. Not
No.
at all.
We got so lucky in that first round.
Okay, since we did a deep dive with the Bears, we can do a deep dive with Minnesota real quick. I thought Minnesota did great by holding those picks for as long as they did. We all suspected they would be trading up into the top 5 to try to get a quarterback, which we kind of thought would be JJ.
Yeah, we all said it was going to be JJ.
Held on, and they held on, and they only had to move up to 10.
Yeah, just a quick pick swap.
They only had to move up one spot, so they didn't have to give up the farm to get him.
And they only really gave away what, a 4th and a 5th rounder, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yes,
brilliant move by Minnesota.
Kwesi has proven to me this draft that when it comes to being a GM, he may be what Minnesota needs because he can make the right moves. Now the real question comes into whether or not we could sign Justin Jefferson. And then that'll tell me all I need to know about Kwesi as a GM.
JJ to JJ.
Man.
Now let's go on to what I suspect Big Ed is referring to as the biggest shocker of the draft, which was, Big Ed, I'll give you the honor.
The Atlanta Falcons picking Michael Penix Jr.
The number 8 overall pick.
While they got they just signed Kirk Cousins to a big contract.
Almost $200 million.
Man.
That's got Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love written all over it.
So what's your thoughts on it?
I'm kind of iffy about it.
Okay.
I wasn't real high on Penix. I thought he might have been a 2nd round pick. But I see Atlanta.
Based on what? The hype? Because I know they was pushing him down, but they do that to a lot of black quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing him down. But based on what? Not his performance.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I saw him at the combine, and I don't know. He wasn't it for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
What I see Atlanta building for the future. So he's finna go sit behind Kurt and learn.
What's your thoughts, Wade?
Uh, I am not the biggest fan of the pick. As a coach, I know I just
Wade's
picked up.
wanted Penix.
I didn't want Penix. I wanted just JJ McCarthy. That's who I want, and I got who I wanted. But I didn't expect it to be Michael Penix Jr. It was just I figured their most logical route would be to go wide receiver and pick up Romadones. And when they announced the quarterback, I was like, why? But I can understand it. I was listening to Club Shay Shay or what you call it? Nightcap with him and Ocho. And Ocho brings up a good point that, yeah, you invested all this money in and all that. I don't agree with that part with Kirk, but why not invest in the future by making sure you have someone under Kirk? So if he does go down, you don't have hot garbage absolutely coming in. You have a fighter's chance with a rookie.
I kind of see that. I mean, but you can have a fighter's chance with a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my thoughts. I thought they was going defense. I thought they were going defense.
I actually thought they was going to get Dallas Turner.
I thought they were getting Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Yes, I was surprised by the pick, and I was like, "What were they thinking?" But there's a lot of things to think about here. So they can opt out of Kurt Warner after 2 years. I didn't know that. I mean, Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
They can opt out of Cousins after 2 years. That part I didn't know. I also didn't know Kirk is in with a Achilles injury. Right.
Yep.
So he might not be.
You've got a 35, 36-year-old quarterback with an injury that could potentially affect him negatively. And we've got the 8th overall pick. If the Kirk Cousins signing works, we're not going to be getting the 8th overall pick. We're not going to be in the top 10 in 2 years when we need to move on from Kirk Cousins. So we need to get our guy now while we're here so that when we're ready to move on from Kirk Cousins, we're probably, hopefully, if that pickup worked, we should be picking in the later in the draft. We should be picking in the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't gonna be finding no top 10, quarterback that's going in the top 10 if we're picking in the 20s. So if we're gonna get our guy, we need to get him while we're here.
Yeah. And
then when we need our guy, he's already on our team. So I understood that. I understood that concept. It is reminiscent of the Jordan Love pick. It's also reminiscent of the Aaron Rodgers pick.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an old school way of doing things. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It's just it's not the way they do it anymore. Mm-hmm. Everybody just waits until they have a desperate need. You pick a quarterback, you throw him in a fire. That's not how it used to be.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Elway didn't start right away. You used to get in there and sit on a bench behind the starter, learn this game for a couple years, then you get in.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old way of doing things, but it's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion.
No.
Was I surprised? Fuck. I mean, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was shocked. I didn't see it coming. But after thinking about it, I understood the logic, and I don't mind that pick. And I was very high on Michael Penix Jr. I think Michael Penix Jr. would be. I think Deion said it too. Deion was the only person I saw say it. Deion Sanders. Don't know why all of a sudden they always like to pick a black quarterback to push down the draft. They always do it every time. They was trying to push Cam Newton down. They was trying to push. They always trying to push black quarterbacks down the draft like they don't deserve to be picked this high.
Mm-hmm.
Put Jimmy Clausen up there, right? Jimmy Clausen should go number 3. Cam Newton
Darnold
would
should
go
go
in the
number
second
one.
round. Sam Darnold, number one. Push Deshaun Watson down. They always pushing black quarterbacks down the list. When my eye test, what I saw on the field, this boy was balling out.
Yeah.
I was watching him last year saying, I want that dude on my team. I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From day one. I saw him. I was like, this is phenomenal. But after the season's over, you no longer got that, and we don't have access to film like we scouts. All we got is Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd Lachey and all these other talking heads feeding you the bullshit that you start eating up, and you forget what you saw. I'm one that don't forget what I saw. I remember my eyes. I remember my reaction when I saw this guy play, and I liked what I saw, and nobody's gonna sway me from it because I've seen y'all get it wrong so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen y'all do this to black quarterbacks so many times. I'm not gonna let y'all sway my opinion. I know what I saw, and I was impressed, extremely impressed. This guy went to the national championship game. Yeah, he lost it, but he got there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That wasn't no accident.
Mm-hmm. When I was watching the draft and it was saying the Falcons pick was in, and the analysts and hosts are talking about how the Falcons are potentially getting a quarterback, I started sweating originally because I was like, oh, well, there goes our shot at JJ. That's all I was thinking. And then when they announced, I'm not gonna lie, I celebrated a little, but I was really confused as well with the Michael Penix announcement because I figured it wasn't. If it was anyone, it was not going to be him.
Yeah, it was an interesting pick. It was very
Yes.
Baltimore had a Baltimore draft.
Mm-hmm.
Defense.
Defensive back, defense, offensive line, linebacker, wide receiver, fourth round,
Mm-hmm.
defensive back, center, defensive back.
Line and defense.
A late round running back and a late round quarterback, and no big splash, but you know damn well they know what they doing.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
they were filling in needs, taking care of the stuff, the team that to build the team for next season based on those needs. And then at the very end, you know what? Just in case, you never know what you might find. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of these.
Yeah, they go for foundation.
Man, gotta respect it.
Well, they filled everything they needed in free agency. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed another team that do that, and that's Brad Holmes and his new philosophy with the Lions. I'm gonna go after best player. I'm filling needs with free agents and to go after best player available in the draft.
Yep. Build that bench up.
And I noticed something else that he did this year. It's like, okay, we don't have a lot of needs now. We got holes to fill. We don't have like a big list of we got to hit this guy. We need somebody here. We need somebody there. We got a short list of needs. So I'm going to be very aggressive and move some of these picks to move up in the draft to fill those needs with the best players I can.
Yep.
As opposed to holding on to the picks because I need 8 picks. I need 7 picks. I need 12 picks. I don't need all of that shit. I need 4 or 5 good ones.
Yep.
So I'm going to take these extra picks and lump them with another pick to move up in the draft. Because they moved up to get both cornerbacks. They grabbed 2 corners and they moved up to get them both.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. So it was fairly impressive. Buffalo Bills, in an attempt to, they didn't have a first round pick.
No.
No.
In an attempt to replace Stephon Diggs, went wide receiver first, with the first pick in the second round.
Yeah.
They grabbed Keon Coleman out of Florida State. And then they started going defense. They grabbed a running back out of Kentucky, Ray Davis. Offensive line, they got a center. And then they went defense, offensive line, defense, offensive line. So
Man.
another team going after the foundation. Had to get a receiver though. Had to get a receiver. They lost a couple of them. Didn't they lose Gabe Davis too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they,
I love that Keon Coleman pick. If you've seen that press conference, that kid is probably the most wholesome, funny kid I've seen going into the NFL with personality like that. That was the whole, don't get me wrong, the personality, the charisma was all there, but it was the wholesomeness that got me hooked on this kid.
Okay, I didn't see it.
You gotta check out his presser. It is absolute gold. You'll see why I'm not like, oh, he's gonna be a great, but I'm a fan of the kid just based off of that already.
Okay, I like that. A lot of people here have been taken by Terrion Arnold because of how he took control of the crowd immediately. He just snatched the microphone, because he was everybody was saying first, they were saying after the first round, the saying on the radio was Terrion Arnold was the luckiest player in the draft because he happened to be here and happened to be the one that was drafted by the guy that had almost all 300,000 people rooting for him. And so he got the hugest ovation because he got picked in front of his new home crowd. And when he heard it, when he turned around and he got that crowd, man, that guy was just taken and snatched the mic, was like, yo, I'm home. I'm like, this nigga has made himself at home quick.
He felt the love. He was like, yeah, this is it. This is the place.
Yeah, and then Brad Holmes has been big on picking guys from Alabama. So he's also from Alabama. Terrion Arnold is. He played for Alabama. So he's like, I was just out with Brian Branch a couple nights ago, and he was like, "What's it gonna take to get you?" He's like, he said, "We got to get you here, man." And he told him, he said, "Well, tell your old boss, man, he got to move up and get me then." Right? Because he was expected to go top 15. Well, they did move up and get him, but they only had to move up 5 spots.
Mm.
And so then he started talking about his relationship with Gibbs and J-Mo, Jameson Williams. So, it's an Alabama revival happening. So that's cool. I look for big things from him. He's got a big personality. But he's been all over social media. He's been talking a lot. He's running his mouth a lot. He's having a lot of fun. He's really enjoying being picked, and this he's enjoying this ride, and I like that. I like players that enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers selected Xavier Leggett, wide receiver out of South Carolina, with the last pick of the first round. And then in the second round, they grabbed a running back.
They ain't got no choice but to keep building because right now it ain't working.
They got a tight end. They getting their boys some weapons, but you know what they didn't get?
The line?
They didn't draft a single offensive lineman.
Wow.
I hope they did something in the offseason because that is the biggest blaring mistake you could have made if you were the GM of the Panthers.
They got 4 defensive players, a wide receiver, a running back, and a tight end.
Those weren't needed, but I guess. Oh, wide receiver. Yeah.
We're going to skip Chicago because we already did Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati. Say what?
The Chiefs had a good draft.
Cincinnati Bengals grabbed lineman Amarius Mims.
Yes. Great pickup for him. Joe Burrow should be happy.
The next pick, they grabbed Michigan defensive tackle Chris Jenkins. They went trenches, and then they went wide receiver Jermaine Burton. Because didn't they lose One of their receivers. Or
Uh, they're potentially losing T. Higgins.
Yeah.
But I think they're gonna keep T. Higgins and move the other guy,
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. I think they're gonna go with T. Higgins and move Tyler Boyd. I think I heard. Well, I heard
Yeah.
that. I heard that on the radio a couple yesterday.
And I know people here, at least in Benson, have been really high up on the idea that Minnesota might end up landing Tyler Boyd to fill the void from KJ Osborne.
There was some talk about Detroit landing him too. So, but then the consensus of the callers was that instead of Tyler Boyd, they would prefer the Lions to reacquire DJ Shark.
That's not a bad move in my
Yeah, that
opinion.
might not be bad.
Yes, because he's familiar with the offense. He already have a rapport with Jared Goff, and he didn't do bad when he was here. He wasn't bad when he was here. Nobody wanted him gone. He just had to go because of the way the money played out. But now the money's right for him to come back. Everybody wants him. They want to pull an Ezekiel Elliott. Let's see here. The Cleveland Browns.
How many masseuses?
Man, they didn't have no first round. They had
They gave it to Houston.
in their second round. They went with defensive tackle Michael Hall out of Ohio State, and then they've got in the third round they got Zach Zinter, offensive guard from Michigan. That's a big dude. Zach Zinter, I don't know if y'all familiar with him because, of course, me being a avid Wolverine fan, he is a big monster. He would have been first round, I believe, if he didn't get hurt. He can't play right away. He's coming in with an injury that's going to have him benched and going through rehab before he can play. So he may play late first season, or more likely he will start. He will come in next year, the following season. His second year may be his first. But that is a big dude. That was a good pick to me. I thought the Lions were going to grab him. I don't think they knew everybody saw him coming because of his injury. But he's a big dude, man. That guy's huge.
6'6", 309.
Yeah, he moves the crowd. He moves the crowd.
Ooh.
Let's see here. The Dallas Cowboys
Did nothing.
I thought they had a damn good draft. They went offensive tackle, defensive end, offensive guard, linebacker, defensive back. That's strong to me. That's building up with your weak. You want to build up the offensive line and the defense to improve the offensive line and defense. That's what they need.
Yeah. And they didn't really have too many options really available to have an impactful running back coming to them from the draft either.
Yeah, well, they got Zeke, though. Anyway, they grabbed the wide receiver late round, and then they went right back to offensive line and defensive line. I mean, they went strictly for the meat and guts, the foundation. What was their claim to fame when they won, when they were good?
That line.
And the best damn offensive line in football. Yeah, I like their draft, but I'm a guy that believes in offensive line and defense is the way you build a team. That's how you build a strength, man. Without
your core, you're just weak.
Without that, everything else will fall apart. And I always say, a great offensive line will make a good quarterback great and a great quarterback all time. And it can make a bad quarterback look good. Because you protection.
Jeff Garcia.
Gus Farrat.
Brad Johnson.
Hey, I thought Garcia was a baller, man. You don't call it no 49er quarterbacks when you're a Bear fan. Just back down. Just let that go. You'll need to let that go. Justin Fields. How about that one?
Hey, he should actually still be a Bear.
Justin Fields.
Man, think about it. If he walked into
But
the
I'm just think
situation,
about it. Just think about it. You want to, since you calling out quarterbacks, Justin Fields. Let's
Mr.
see how
No
he
fifth
look
year.
with no offensive line. See, look what he turned into. You take an offensive line away, you take away a whole lot that a quarterback can do.
and I think if he walked into the Bears like Caleb Williams is, he'd still be a Bear.
Nah.
You said you was iffy, and there you go with that iffy shit. If he did this, if he did this, if he had this, if he had that, all that iffy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do the iffy. We ain't talking iffies. You calling out 49 quarterbacks when you got your own problems.
All I'm hearing is if he was Caleb Williams. I'm just saying. That's
You
all
know-
I'm hearing.
You know, the Denver Broncos, by the way,
Bo
Nix, they first pick.
I think that's a solid pickup for him. He's perfect for a Sean Payton system.
And I think that's yet to be seen because I'm not sure what a Sean Payton system is. I think I'm still of a firm belief that Drew Brees made Sean Payton, not the other way around.
Oh, I don't think they made each other or a period. I think
Nope.
Drew Brees was a great.
Nope. I said Drew Brees made him. Damn it. I didn't say they didn't make each other. I said Drew Brees made him. He didn't make Drew Brees.
He also made Phillip Rivers too. So
Who made Phillip Rivers?
Drew Brees.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Sean Payton. I was like, I don't think they ever worked together.
No,
I don't think that made sense. I'm gonna let him have it. They also picked up wide receiver Tony Franklin, and I think that's 4th round. They grabbed Tony Franklin, which was a good late pick.
Yeah. And they no longer got who was it, Judy?
Yeah, Jerry Judy.
yeah, he's with the Browns now.
Yeah, so they definitely need a little more help at wide receiver then.
The Detroit Lions, we already spoke on. They got Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri. Terrion out of Alabama and Rakestraw out of Missouri. 2 back-to-back cornerbacks in the first round and second round. Actually, first round and third round, right? No, they moved back into the second round. No, they were in the second round. They gave away their third round pick to move up. Yeah, so they didn't have a third round pick. They traded their third round pick to Dallas to move up to get Terrion Arnold.
Okay.
That's what it was. So they didn't have a third round pick. They did have a second round pick. So with that second round pick, they moved up a little bit in the second round to grab Ennis Rakestraw Jr. And then they moved up again in the 4th round, where Big Gretch came out and threw on her buffs and made the crowd go crazy. Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of the state, for those that don't know, Gretchen Whitmer. So here's the backstory on her throwing on the buffs. Now, buffs is a big deal here in Detroit. I don't know if y'all familiar with it. You know?
No.
Okay. So buffs are some extremely expensive sunglasses. They can run upwards of like $3,000.
Oh damn! What the hell?
And it's a Detroit thing. They buffs. You wear the buffs in Detroit. It's a big deal.
They better put themselves on.
So when Gretchen Whitmer back during the pandemic did something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something they stood up. She stood up for Michigan against Trump, and so the brothers, all the black people in Detroit said, sent her a notice that she's invited to the picnic, and they did. And they put together a GoFundMe to buy her some buffs, and they bought her a pair of buffs. So that was the backstory behind her coming up on stage and saying, "Before I read this, let me throw on my buffs." And the crowd
That's
went
why they're
crazy.
so expensive.
And Detroit went bananas. So yeah, she threw on her buffs and we moved up. to pick number 126, my lucky number, because that's my birthday, 126. And they picked Giovanni Manu out of British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
So this was an offensive tackle that the CFL had been trying to hide from the NFL teams because they didn't want him taken away from Canada. They wanted him in the CFL. And there was two teams that scouted him. The Detroit Lions and the fuck Carltons. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions were the only two teams that knew about this dude. He is 6'8", 325 pounds, something like that. He's a monster. He's an absolute monster. And then after that, they picked, some other guys. The Green Bay Packers went offensive line, defense. And then they picked in the 4th round. They got a really good pick, I thought. They grabbed Marshawn Lloyd out of USC in the 4th round, running back out of USC. That dude can run, man. I think that pick scares me. I thought Green Bay, in my opinion, had a decent draft.
I think so too.
Hold on. Speaking of USC, though, shout out to my niece Maya. She just signed with USC, so.
Okay. Oh, another shout out.
That a couple weeks ago, but
while we're talking about USC, there's another one. Shout out to Reggie Bush.
Yeah, got his Heisman.
Yeah, got his Heisman back.
Yeah. And while we're talking about USC, shout out to Brownie James.
Oh yeah. Gonna get drafted next year to play with his dad.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe. We'll see.
While Kevin Durant tries to become a Timberwolf.
I don't think that'll be happening.
Durant's gone. Durant's gone somewhere.
He's gone. He's on his way out, no matter what.
He going to Minnesota. That's who swept him, right? Yeah. He going there.
Hey, he did it before.
He's headed there. He's headed to Minnesota. Damn it.
And the amount of love he showed Ant, yeah, I can see it. But no, I don't want it.
You go. The Houston Texans went foundation. Defensive back, Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia. Offensive line, offensive tackle out of Notre Dame, Blake Fisher. Defensive back out of USC. Speaking of USC. And then tight end Cade Stover, and of course we're not gonna name them all, but their last pick was Ladarius Henderson, offensive guard from Michigan.
Okay,
I like it. They're making sure that they're building to protect their quarterback. That's all it sounds like to me. They're making sure to protect that investment because C.J. Stroud is exactly that.
That's it.
I don't know. Didn't Michigan have trouble protecting J.J. McCarthy? That's why they ran so much?
No, we ran so much because we had the best protection.
Pushing everybody around.
We had the best protection out there.
They ran so much because it was so effective at pushing everybody out the way. Let's see here. Indianapolis Colts, Liatu Latu.
Brilliant.
Didn't they trade up to get him?
Yeah. Yeah. And then they got a wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell from Texas. And
I like it.
Went offensive tackle and center with their next two picks.
Good.
They're trying to protect old boy a little bit, but I love the Liatu Latu.
One common theme I found in this draft that I think is my favorite, my main reason why this is one of my favorite drafts. I've been seeing a lot of teams grabbing those offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to me.
So that had to be the first. Liatu Latu was the first defensive player off the board at 15.
Yep, at 15.
Going back the backtrack where we talked about earlier. So he went at 15. That was the first defensive player off the board. which was a blessing, man. That put for the Detroit because they needed defense, and all them great defensive players got pushed to the back of the front to the back of the first round. That was incredible. I was watching it going, wow. Wow. When Atlanta tipped the scale, when they went Michael Penix, that changed the whole draft.
Yeah.
That made everybody say, wait, what the hell is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
It was all normal at first.
I was actually shocked that Dallas Turner wasn't the first defensive player taken off the board.
I wasn't shocked. I like Latu. It depended on what they needed.
I was shocked, but not as shocked at the fact that Minnesota was the one that got him. Yeah. To me, that is the most shocking thing in the draft.
The reason I was shocked is because Latu's had some injury problems. Mm-hmm. They told him he might not even be able to play football again. So that's what shocked me about him being the first defensive player off the board.
Okay,
I can see that. Yeah,
I thought Latu was a monster.
Yeah.
The Jacksonville Jaguars grabbed the wide receiver Brian Thompson Jr. out of LSU. Brian Thomas Jr., not Thompson. Then they went defense, offensive line. After that, so I mean that's been a common theme here. A lot of defense, offensive line. A lot of people going that route. Kansas City Chiefs jumped up and grabbed Xavier Worthy.
And they were actually predicted to pick him with the last pick.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was a good pick. It remains to be seen yet that he fills that very obvious void over there in the receiving core.
And then the next pick, guess what they did?
Huh.
Offensive tackle.
6'4", 326. Damn, that's a big boy.
Kingsley Suamata. And then they went tight end, Jared Wiley, out of TCU. He's not going to see a lot of time.
Yeah. He'll be a good second option at tight end, though.
Yeah. They gotta do it. They gotta feel that, behind Kelsey eventually.
Right.
He won't.
They do have a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets too.
Yeah. They got to do something. They got to bring somebody else along. So that was. I'm not mad at that pick. Then they went defensive back, offensive line, defense back, offensive line. That's what they did for the rest of the draft.
Nice.
Let's see. The Raiders.
Oh. I felt so bad for them.
Ooh, I didn't. When they got Brock Bowers, I didn't feel bad at all.
Oh,
I was like, holy smokes.
I felt bad for them in the sense that they needed a quarterback, and man, did they get robbed blind.
I didn't.
But Brock Bowers was, talk about a turnaround.
I didn't expect to pick a quarterback. I said that when we did our mock draft. I did not expect the Raiders to pick a quarterback.
No, O'Connell is actually decent.
Yeah, I thought O'Connell was not too bad, but I just totally, I don't see it. I don't see them needing a QB. I don't see them. I won't say that I don't see them needing a QB. I just don't see them going after one. I didn't see that happening.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not what they gonna do. They gonna try to ground and pound. They gonna play tough big boy football out there. That's what I see. And out of their coach, man, I see Pierce making them play big boy ball, and you gonna have to come get us. They went tight end Brock Bowers, who is a absolute phenomenal pick to me.
Yes,
that dude to me was probably one of the best players in the draft. That dude, after what I saw him do to Michigan, that dude is a monster. But then after that, you know what they did? Offensive line, defense.
Sounds about right.
Just like, it's just been the calling card, man. That's been the calling card. They did pick up a running back later round, Dylan Loeb, New Hampshire. I can't tell you anything about him other than he went to New Hampshire. I can't tell you another player in the NFL history that played for New Hampshire.
No.
The Los Angeles Chargers started the Jim Harbaugh regime in Jim Harbaugh fashion. Jim
Absolutely.
Harbaugh loves the trenches. And first pick out the gate, no, I ain't trading this pick to Minnesota for the 11-23. I'm taking Joe Alt at number 5. Let's get me an offensive tackle to protect this boy back here that y'all been leaving naked for the last 20 years.
Yo, and not only did they get them an offensive tackle, they got them a cornbread fed Minnesota boy. They got them a farm boy out there.
Yep, yep. And then they went and got him a wide receiver with the next pick,
Mhm.
Matt McConkey out of Georgia. And you know, anybody coming out of Georgia and Alabama is certified,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they get a linebacker out of another certified program, Michigan.
Mhm.
So yeah, then they went and got a defensive end out of Alabama.
Mm.
Oh yeah, he got some dogs. He went and got some dogs, man. He went defense. After that, he went offensive tackle, wide receiver, defense.
Mm.
And then he grabbed the running back. I got you,
Wide
baby.
receiver.
Yep. So Big Ed, by the way, folks, went and pulled up the draft so that he can not just chime in, but try to beat me to the punch. And that's what he does. But anyway, so the Los Angeles Rams,
Mm.
they went defensive end. They went trenches, defensive end, defensive tackle, both from Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Verse, which I thought was a great pick.
Yes.
I was
wanted him.
shocked. I was
I
shocked.
wanted him. I would have been okay not getting Roma Dunze and getting Jared Verse.
I bet. I expected him to go like at least top 15. I thought top 10.
Mm-hmm.
19? You got him in 19 straight up?
Right. That's a steal.
And then they went with their third pick and grabbed Blake Corum out of Michigan. The Rams making me nervous.
Well, they had to replace Donald.
The Rams are making me nervous. As a 49er fan, I'm getting nervous. They got defensive tackle, defensive end, running back, and then they went right back, defense.
Jeez.
Hoo-wah.
That's how you do it.
Well, that's where their problem lies. They got Puka.
They got me nervous. I ain't gonna front. They got me nervous, boy. The Miami Dolphins got Chop Robinson at the 21. Jeez.
Man, that was a steal too.
Yes.
Oh, these defensive players went late, man. Oh man. It was just defense. The later part of this draft was just defensive heaven. You was getting studs late in the draft. Then they grabbed Patrick Paul, offensive tackle out of Houston. Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee, who's pretty good. I like him. And Muhammad Kamara, linebacker out of Colorado State.
Mm.
Then they had a different kind of draft. They went wide receiver, defensive back, wide receiver, close it out. Not bad. The Chop Robinson pick was great. After that, I liked the Jalen Wright pick, but other than that, they were okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like plug and play, fill in.
Yeah, I thought they were okay. We did dive in on the Vikings, but we can again. J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner, both in the first round, 10 and 17. Kyrie Jackson, a defensive back. Then they went offensive tackle. Picked a kicker,
Mm-hmm.
Will Rickard.
Kicker the kicker.
Then they went center and defensive tackle. So I thought Minnesota did a good. I didn't think they had a great draft. I thought they did a good job with what they had.
Exactly.
Because I was expecting them to take those 2 picks and move all the way up, and they only had to move up 1 spot to get who they wanted, and then they snuck up and got Dallas Turner. Holy shit,
Man.
At 17. So yeah,
I feel satisfied with that.
Him going in the top 10.
Yeah.
I thought top 10. I thought he was out of there.
Yeah. I'm very satisfied with the Vikings draft. It'll be interesting to see where it goes this season.
I thought it was a good draft. For the Vikings. New England Patriots stayed put, grabbed Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
And then they grabbed him a receiver, Jalen Polk. And then they went offensive line after that. They got another receiver in there, another quarterback in there. They got Joe Milton late. I didn't know they grabbed Joe Milton out of Tennessee. They got him late in the draft.
That's actually a sneaky good pick.
That's a sneaky good pick.
That gives me Robert Griffin, Kirk Cousins vibes.
Almost.
Almost.
Kirk Cousins was second round, so that's a little. It gives me more Trey Lance and Brock Purdy vibe.
Yeah. There we go.
Let's see here. New Orleans Saints grabbed offensive tackle Fuaga in the first round. And then in the second round, they was able to get Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Wow. Second round?
Yeah.
Number 41.
Wow.
Sneaky. That's another sneaky good pick.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. And then in the fourth round, they got Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina. Quarterback out of South Carolina. So they got some good picks late. I don't think Kool-Aid was a sneaky good. I just think that was another one of those defense phenoms. Late pick. Some really good defensive players went late in this draft.
Right?
Yeah.
It was just the weirdest thing that nobody would pick a defensive player. I couldn't believe it. The Giants grabbed Wade's favorite receiver, Malik Neighbors.
Yes.
Number 6 overall pick out of LSU.
That was a wasted move.
I agree.
Yeah, that was because they're just gonna waste his talent.
They don't have a quarterback.
They're just gonna waste his
He
talent.
got a great receiver and nobody to throw it to him.
Like, come on, man. Like,
Let's
I
see
love
what
his
Drew
stuff.
Lock can do when he's back under after sitting a few years.
This thing said Drew Lock.
Did you say Drew Lock? He's been sitting for a few years already.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see when he gets, because Daniel Jones ain't gonna have the reins to the team next year.
No, but come on.
Bro, the last time they had the 6th overall pick, they picked Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So why would you not? Okay, so you blew it with that quarterback, but you got the number 6 pick again.
Mm-hmm.
You need a quarterback.
You had a chance.
Yeah,
you had to go ruin this young rookie wide receiver's career already.
Yeah, I thought they blew that. Wasn't impressed with them. The Jets Jets got Illuminati Fashinaku.
Good luck. I'm not going to try to say that one.
Fashanu. Number, or it's Fashanu. It's something I heard his name pronounced correctly, and because I remember it because the guy changed it. He said it. He said Fashanu, then he said no, Fashanu, and he corrected himself. And I don't remember. I may be doing that backwards.
I'd say it for Shanu.
I'm saying Fashanu.
I'm saying have a good season, young man.
I'm saying Illuminati.
You just better be able to protect Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but they needed offensive tackle. They needed offensive line. Then they grabbed a receiver and a running back. And Jordan Travis out of Florida State, quarterback. Oh shit! Aaron Rodgers.
Another
like
George for
that.
Aaron Rodgers.
He's gonna be upset. Oh, you got a quarterback.
Yeah, we got a quarterback. I'm going into the dark and take some mushrooms.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be a commander next season. Now what?
Philly picked Kenyon Mitchell out of Toledo. Quinion Mitchell.
He was actually the first corner taken, wasn't
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they took a little bit of heat over that because he went to Toledo, but it ain't where you go. It's how you play.
Man.
he? Right.
Ain't mad at him. Then they grabbed another cornerback with the second pick, Cooper DeJean from Iowa.
That was a nice
In the
pickup.
second round.
That's talk about your sneaky picks. Cooper's got a lot of talent.
Second round.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to be like the Lions. Two cornerbacks first. They trying to be like the Lions. Carl. And let's see. They grabbed a linebacker out of Houston Christian, and then they Will Shipley running back out of Clemson. Great pick there. Oh my God. That was a great pick. Will Shipley is a bad boy. Don't know if y'all familiar with Will Shipley, but he's a monster. Great pick there. They went with Anaya Smith, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Clemson, linebacker out of Clemson. That was a good pick. So yeah, I thought they had a good draft. And of course, they got out of Florida State wide receiver Johnny Wilson. Just the fact that the nigga named Wilson.
How many more teams we got?
I don't know. You looking at it. Pittsburgh Steelers. We have offensive tackle, center, Zach Frazier, good pick in the second round. Roman Wilson and Peyton Wilson. Pittsburgh officially have more Wilsons than anybody in the NFL. San
Only
Francisco,
one they ain't got is Tim Wilson.
that's the only one you need. And San Francisco, speaking of who got Tim Wilson, they went receiver Ricky Pearsall out of Florida, wide receiver out of Florida, which means one of the other things. Means one of two things. Either Debo or Brandon Ayuk is out of there.
It's Debo. Brandon Ayuk just got an extension. No, he just got franchise tag, didn't he?
If he got franchise tagged, then they're going to keep him.
Yeah. So it'll be Debo.
They're going to keep both of them.
Because I know they just did a deal of some sort with
If they franchised
Ayuk.
him, they're keeping them both. If they signed him, they're going to trade Debo. But if they franchise him, they ain't signed, they ain't moving nobody. They just going to add Pearsall to the crew. If they franchise you, they're keeping them both.
Okay. I'm pretty sure either they were working on a deal or they had already did something.
I do think they're going to move Debo. I think they're going to end up moving Debo.
Yeah.
But if they franchised Ayuk, they're not making a move yet.
No, not yet.
But I think one of them I think this pick meant to me that one of them are out.
Yeah. And this season's going to determine which one it will be.
It very possibly will. Ronaldo, they went defensive back, offensive line, defense. Grabbed another running back and wide receiver later, and then they went back to offensive line and defense. Rather.
Good.
Seattle, defensive tackle Byron Murphy with number 16 overall pick. Connecticut, offensive guard Christian Haynes in the third round. Right? Nope, second round. Pick 81 was still second round, right? No, that's third.
Yeah,
that's
that'd be third.
That's
Yeah.
Third round. So they didn't have a second round pick. And they didn't do anything very significant, which, quite frankly, I like. That means it's a lot of defense, tight ends, and offensive line.
Good.
I like that.
And as of 4 hours ago, according to Ian Rappaport, both Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk will be on the roster day one.
Yeah, if they franchise them, they're keeping them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Graham Barton out of Duke, center out of Duke, went to Tampa Bay with the 26th overall pick, and then they went linebacker, defensive back. They also got a wide receiver, and they got Bucky Irvin running back,
And
Oregon.
they also invited Talua Tagovailoa for rookie camps as well.
They sure did. And the 49ers had a practice with Terrell Owens' son.
Yep, we're giving him a shot as well.
Yep. Tennessee Titans went offensive tackle, defensive tackle, linebacker, defensive back. How about that? This was they went running on them defensive players once they started, huh? It didn't stop. So they got J.C. Latham with that first pick out of Alabama. Not bad. Good offensive tackle. Taking care of that boy they got last year, Will Levis.
Yeah.
Got to protect him. Keep him upright.
Yeah.
That's what he can do. The Commanders, as we all know, grabbed Jayden Daniels with the number 2 overall pick, but they also got Jerjuan Newton in the second round, which was a great pick. And after that, they went. They got Ben Sinnott, tight end out of Kansas State. That was a good pick. Luke McCaffrey. I don't know who that is, but his name is McCaffrey, so I'm running with it.
Yep.
A receiver out of Rice. And
Ain't that is Christian's brother, I thought.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
Because Christian McCaffrey was the one that posted up giving him props about it. I'm pretty sure that was his brother.
Ooh, let's see. Let's take a look.
Ed McCaffrey's sons.
Let's take a look.
Because Jerry Rice's son also got picked up by someone too.
Jerry Rice's son did get picked up.
Yeah.
Which Luke McCaffrey ironically went to Rice. Which is in Houston. I never knew that Rice University was in Houston until I moved there.
Yeah.
I was like, Rice, is this the Rice University? They're like, yeah. Like, I had no idea. Well, it's taking forever to bring up Luke's info, so never mind. Eventually we'll get there. But that's the draft, folks. That's all the teams. That's all of them. So Big Ed wanted to know how many were left. Let's see. Luke McCaffrey, born in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. So, yeah, Ed McCaffrey played for Denver.
With the 100th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft,
Oh, that's me.
the Washington Commanders select Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver, Rice.
All right, shut up, bitch. Yeah, that is Christian McCaffrey's brother.
Yeah.
That is Christian McCaffrey. When I saw he was from Colorado, I was like, yeah, well, that's where Ed McCaffrey played in Denver. Yeah, that was his home. So, yeah, so that's the draft. Who won the draft?
Oof. That's a tougher question to answer then. This year's draft has been shockingly not bad when it came to teams actually focusing on the stuff they needed to cover. Obviously, Atlanta threw a curveball, but they still they didn't knock it out of the park, but they may have hit a double. But at the same time, man, I don't know. Obviously, I'm biased, so I want to say the Vikings, but I'm not being honest when I say that.
I don't know. Why don't we do that for next week's show? Our draft grades.
Let's do that.
I like that. That gives me time to think about it,
man. Because we've been running for about 3 hours tonight. But I enjoyed it, man. I don't care. I'm sorry. I enjoyed it. We haven't done a show in a while since last week, so
right.
We missed our weekend shows 2 weeks in a row, and I hope you missed them too. And we'll be back, man. We'll be back. Want to thank y'all for joining us. I'm your boy OG Tim Wilson. On behalf of the Nasty Boys, Big Ed and Ways, This has been the off season. We out. Peace.